you that don't know me, my name is Kimberly, and like many of you, I am a multifaceted person with many interests. And for my YouTube content, I usually am drawn to making mostly content on, having fun, living the goddess lifestyle, belly dance, um, vegetarian food, going out to eat. I love having little adventures, especially around my little city and state, and as well as traveling. So I tend to make content more on that, and as well as some witchy creative content. I don't know, just pretty much whatever. I know they say when you're doing YouTube, you're supposed to have your niche or whatever, but my niche is everything. So for this video, though, I thought it would be fun to make a video talking about my spiritual path as a priestess and what that means to me, as well as showing you some footage of my recent trip to the Goddess Temple of Spirituality, which is in Nevada. It is dedicated to Sekhmet, and she's one of those goddesses that first spoke to me. So I will talk about that. And so anyway, speaking of being multifaceted, just to give you a little example, my brother once said to me that I was a bit of a conundrum to him because, on the one hand, like, I love to be with nature. I'll go sit and meditate and hug trees in nature and, go camping under the stars. But then I also love to go to Las Vegas, and I love like the noise and the action and just the excitement of it all. So, and the lights too. I find the lights are beautiful there. And I guess that's part of living my, my life, is just finding the beauty and all my experiences. And I do love to share about that. So I will be taking you to that temple with me. I try to go, not every time I go to Las Vegas, because I do go to Vegas quite a bit, but I do try to go there. It's about a 45-minute drive north of Las Vegas in, I think it's Cactus Springs. So to start, though, we will just go dive right into my path, my spiritual path. So when I was a little girl, sorry, getting little notifications. When I was a little girl, I kind of always figured I was different. I don't know. I think all kids kind of feel like they're different. I grew up in New England, and we grew up in like these really like old houses, and I was convinced, and I'm still convinced, that most of them were haunted. There was one in particular I remember, like, just feeling presence, like other energies around, and always talking to ghosts, right? I would talk to them because that would help me not be so scared. I just would say to them, like, look, I know you're here, and since nothing bad had happened to me or any of my family members, I just assumed that they were nice ghosts, right? Nice spirits. So I would say to them, like, I know that you haven't done anything to hurt us, to scare us away, so I'm assuming you're friendly, your spirit, so would you please continue just to look out for us. So I would also, we would live out like near like the woods. I think one time we lived across from a cemetery. And my siblings and I would love that. Like, we would always just go play in nature, and I would make all sorts of potions and stuff in the woods with like sticks and rocks and things that I found, and create magic. And I had a very vivid imagination, and I think most children do, and it's really sad that we tend to lose that as we get older. But and I did. I lost it a little bit. Like, when I went to high school or even junior high, like, I became more concerned with just fitting in and wanting to be one of the cool kids. And so let's see, I wouldn't say I had the biggest spiritual path during that age, just because, I was trying to have a life and be a normal kid. And I did find dance, and I loved theater arts. And so I was always a very creative and imaginative person, even like throughout high school. And I was on the high school dance team, and was really into that. So when I graduated high school, I didn't go to college. I mean, I went to some community college, and I worked a lot. I was a very hard worker. Pretty much have not lived at home with my parents since I was like 18. And
So I was having problems with my camera, so I decided to just take you along to the Goddess Temple of Spirituality, and this is in Nevada. So I'm just going to tell the rest of my story while we explore the Goddess Temple. So like I said, I had just turned 18, 19, and I guess I should mention at this time I was living in California. I had moved from the East Coast to California when I was 15, 16, around that time, and I had fallen in with a really good group of friends, and we were hanging out a lot and hiking, and I had my first psychedelic experience with psilocybin at this time, and it just opened up a whole new world for me. And, started asking all these questions about life and who I was and how I fit into life and how, what I believed. I hadn't really grown up with any direct spiritual beliefs, but I'd always been a seeker. My dad jokes, we lived in this really small town in Maine, and my family never took us to church. And, but there was a little church down the road, and my dad calls it, Kim's church, because for some reason I decided to go there on my own. I was just always looking for something greater, Anyway, fast forward to, 19, 20 years old, and I was in college part-time. I was working, I was exploring, through psychedelics, and I started meditating and doing yoga around this time. And, I had found, that I was more in alignment with certain philosophies, specifically like Native American philosophies. I really loved how they lived in reverence with the earth. And I was always, earth-based spirituality. I just thought that I was more connected outside, in a temple, and then earth was my temple more than like a church or something. So, but that's not my culture. I'm not Native American. Same with Eastern philosophy. I always really resonated with like Buddhism and Hinduism, and I was reading a lot about that and learning. I took a philosophy of world religions class in college, and I resonated with a lot of different religions because they all have this unifying theme of love and, treating others as you would want to be treated. But just nothing exactly felt right. Like everything, A, felt really patriarchal and B, felt like it wasn't mine to claim. So, but I did start to hear, so through like studying other religions and cultures, different goddesses started speaking to me, like the voices of the feminine. I really got into Greek philosophy. I was resonating with goddesses like Aphrodite. And then I found the Egyptian pantheon, and I've always been a cat person, so maybe that's why like two of the first goddesses to really speak to me were the cat sisters, Bastet and her lion sister Sekhmet, who is right there. There's the statue of Sekhmet. And this just prompted me down this road of like, goddess spirituality and just wanting to know more about the different goddesses across many cultures. And so I did, and around this time, I was still dancing. I, was getting really into energy healing. I started going to massage school, and I loved massage. I loved healing, but I knew that it was more than just the physical body. So I started learning about energetic healing and the chakra system and learning about all the chakras. And, I wanted to study ecstatic dance, but specifically a form, using chakras, and I became a chakra dance facilitator. And about that, a few years later, I wanted to teach belly dance as well. I've always been really into that. And when I was in massage school, I had come across this DVD called The Goddess Workout, and I was doing that combined with yoga. And so that was like a belly dance DVD or workout, but it was just something that I had never known before. She tied in goddess spirituality and like using the chakras and all this. And so that in itself felt as much of a spiritual practice to me as it was a physical practice. And I did that through massage school, and then just kind of, had children and, didn't, was kind of let that fall by the wayside, but then kind of came back to it like when my kids were, I don't know, when I was going through divorce. I found belly dance again, and I was like, oh, I really want to teach this. And I actually reconnected with the goddess workout, and I found this website that was looking for people to train to be goddess workout instructors, and it just so happened to be the same one that, I found had many years before. And so I started teaching these classes, and that also prompted my goddess spirituality to resurface. And just before the pandemic hit, Delphina, who is the creator of the goddess workout, told me that she was going to be putting together an online sisterhood, and she asked me to be part of the photo shoot here. And so she created this sisterhood, the Goddess Life Sisterhood Goddess Tribe. And that was right during the pandemic when most of us needed to get together and find a safe way to do so. And I'm so grateful for this. It's how I met some of my closest friends. So during that time, I was busy teaching classes on the sisterhood and getting to know these women. I had also been doing a lot of self-healing. I had a lot of childhood wounds come up, specifically with the mother wound and also the sister wound. Not really with my blood sisters, but I had some friendships in the past that I had been deeply hurt from. And these friendships had made it hard for me to completely trust other women and to form really close friendships with other women for a long time. And when I joined the sisterhood, that completely changed that. So I am forever grateful for that. And also around the same time, I had been hearing the call to awaken and heal the divine feminine energy for the planet and for myself. But I had been reading books on, walking the path of the priestess and what being a priestess really meant and was all about. And these books prompted me to take an online 9-month course for, a priestess training course through the Tantric Rose Mystery School. And also through belly dance, I had found out about Sedona Soulfire, who I had taken some online belly dance classes with. And she was holding an elemental alchemy priestess arts activation. And so these two trainings had just completely opened up a whole new world for me and a way of looking at my own spirituality and how I wanted to live my life. In addition to having these spiritual practices to enrich my own life, I've been reflecting on ways that I can step more fully into my role as priestess in serving humanity and healing the divine feminine. And when I tell people that I am a priestess of the goddess and that I, am a priestess of the divine feminine, it's not because I hate the masculine. In fact, I love the masculine, and I believe that we need healthy masculine energy just as much as we need the healthy feminine energy, and they need to be in perfect balance, and they haven't actually been that way in a very, very long time. And I do have hope because I see more women, stepping up into their power and hearing the call. And as much as I take comfort in this, I know we still have a long way to go. And it's become more apparent to me lately, especially when we have certain countries that can elect leaders that are very representative of the toxic masculine. And also, our earth is in crisis. And I consider myself a priestess of Gaia. She is the earth goddess, the Greek earth goddess. And I've always been very nature-based spirituality, like I said before, and eco-centered. So I know my role in, healing divine feminine is because that will help heal the earth. And I guess I'm just sharing my story so that maybe it will help inspire others, and, maybe you have been hearing the call of stepping into this role and, just want to hear other voices. But I think it's important that we all share our stories. Anyway, that's it for me. I hope you all have a very magical day, and I will see you soon.